Hey guys, Tyler GK here, and today we're talking about Wall Crush. Wall Crush is a new property added in patch 5.0, similar to Fahkumram Guard Break, but does not guarantee any options afterwards. Instead, your opponent has to guess between a low or a mid. It should also be noted that not all Wall Crushes are built equally, where Ganryu's is plus 5 on the ground, Asuka's is plus 25 in standing. This creates an interesting dynamic, because sometimes there are so many frames that you cannot low parry, reverse, sabaki, power crush, or rage art through these options. So what I did is figure out all the best options for you so you don't have to do the tedious work yourself. Quick disclaimer, I worked on this solo, so a few things might be incorrect. My apologies if so. So let's go ahead and go through the list alphabetically, starting with Akuma. Akuma Wall Running 1 is plus 6 open field, although plus 17 at the wall. Down 4 is perfectly 17 frames to avoid low parry, but if you're opting for a launch punishable low, it's probably better to go for down 3 instead. Of course, you can always go for a safer back 4, but that does leave you open to low parry. For mids, he has twin piston at 16, but launch punishable on block, so it's probably better to go for 4-4-2-1, which is a full launching wall bounce instead. And if you're not concerned about reversal or I-14 punishment, Power Crush is an okay option. And finally, Wall Running 1 into Instant Wall Running 1 can be used to keep your opponent locked down. Alisa Wall Running 2 is her Wall Crush attack, which is plus 5 open field and plus 16 at the wall. Now this means her down back 3 cannot be low parried, nor her down back 4 be hop kick interrupted. Alisa also has the benefit of a quick wall splat knee, so even though it's slower than I-16, you cannot reverse it. You can also repeatedly use Wall Running 2 into Instant Running 2 at the wall until your opponent wants to duck. Anna's CJM forward forward 4 is part of her roll mix-up, plus 12 open field and plus 14 at the wall. At I-12, she can do a down 4 into a sidestep mix-up that can't be low parried, but you'll probably be more interested in using down forward 4 or a down 3-4 pressure string, both of which cannot be hop kicked. Down forward 3-4 is a non-jailing mid-high attack that perfectly fits in a plus 14 frame data. If you'd prefer minus 12 over launch punishable, you can always use down forward 2, but even then it might be better to use forward 4 instead. Now if you require ultimate safety, a hit confirmable QCF 3-2 might be the best option, although this does leave you open up to reversals. Now Armor King did get a punishment buff, with open field wall stand 2 going from plus 6 to a plus 18 at the wall. And best of all, his wall stand 2 is still a counter hit launcher, leading to tremendous damage. At I-17, his down 3 cannot be low parried, and like the other grapplers, his throws are best used as replacement for the lows. Forward forward 2 is a safe mid wall splat option that perfectly fits under plus 18, or you can go for a forward 2-1 hit confirm for even more damage. Otherwise, a slower mid like down forward 1+2 might catch your opponent off guard. Asuka wall stand 1+2 gets a buff from plus 13 open field to plus 25 at the wall. With so much advantage, down back 3 cannot be low parried, nor can an all-in option like down 1+2. And even a slower option like down 4-3 cannot be reversed nor parried. You even have enough frames to go for a spicier option like Asuka 3+4, which can even lead to a rage art finisher if you have rage. Bob Cracker Jacker 4 went from a knockdown option to a plus 11 open field and plus 19 at the wall. If you want to go for a safer low, down 4 isn't a bad option, but that plus 19 is probably better suited for a riskier option like down back 3+4-4. And while down back 3 might leave you open to low parry, the frame data is perfect to stop mashing, where counter hit down back 3 will guarantee a back 3 flip over. Beating hop kick, you can also go for a hell sweep that can break the wall if one's present. Now for your mid options, I recommend forward forward 2 that's too quick to be parried or reversed, or you can risk it with a back 4-4 for even more damage. Luckily, Bryan's charge 443 is his wall crush, which is only plus 11 open field and plus 13 at the wall. And at plus 13, Bryan lows can be low parried, although down forward cannot be interrupted, nor can sway 3 that would grant knockdown on counter hit. Bryan can go for an I-13 down forward 2-1, or for a down forward 1 hit confirmable string, although this can be reversed. Otherwise can go for a back 1 elbow that cannot be reversed and would be counter hit on any mash. Now if you think your opponent is going to respect your frames, you can go for the Big Daddy taunt that would grant an actual plus 16 instead. Claudio while running 2 is his wall crush, plus 7 open field and plus 21 at the wall. That means down back 4-3 cannot be low parried, nor sidestep 4 be hop kicked in retaliation. Now with that being said, you're probably going to want to use an option like back 1, which cannot be parried nor reversed, which means your opponent is far less likely to duck an option like chaining together instant running 2. Devil Chin up forward 4 got nerfed from a knockdown to a plus 8 open field and plus 20 at the wall. At plus 20, down 3 cannot be low parried, but you may be inclined to use down back 2 for better plus frames, which also gives a knockdown combo against mashers. Or you can go for a riskier hell sweep that cannot be low parried with good execution. Now for your mid options, I recommend a forward 4-2 that cannot be parried or reversed, or the newly riskier forward 1+2 option, which can be hit confirmed. Otherwise, up forward 4 into up forward 4 is also not a terrible option. Dragunov forward 3 went from a plus 5 open field to plus 17 at the wall. Now down 2 can be low parried, but is also a decent chipping low that grants plus frames if they mash out. Although, like the other grapplers, it's probably better to go for a command throw instead. Up forward 3 cannot be parried or reversed and gives you a natural hit wall splat, but you may be inclined to go for back 4-3, which deals more damage although doesn't jail on block. And if your opponent doesn't have a great standing punisher, back 1-2 cannot be launch punished, although still gives a wall splat. If you're not concerned about reversal or parry, down forward 3+4 is a great safe wall splat as well. Now if you have the execution, you can go for instant running 2 that cannot be reversed, and on natural hit / counter hit will grant you a combo at the wall. Eddy 1-2-4-4 and up 4-4 are plus 11 open field and plus 20 at the wall. Since Eddy ends in relax, you can go for a relax 1-3 or a relax 3 chipping low. But if you want to play a little bit riskier, you can also go for a relax 4 slide 3. For your mid option, you'll probably want to go for a relax forward 3+4. Eliza's EX Moonglide 2 goes from plus 7 open field to plus 21 at the wall. Although it should be noted that her EX Moonglide 2 still causes wall bounce combo as well. At plus 21, Eliza down back 4 cannot be low parried, but if you're going to opt for a launch punish below, it's probably better to go for down 3 into heavy DP. Otherwise, if you have more meter to spend, you can always use down 3 into an EX QCB 1+2 combo. For your mids, you can use a back 4 into QCB 1, which is only minus 11 on block, or an instant dive kick depending on your skill level. Fahkumram 1-2-1-4 is plus 8 open field and plus 20 at the wall, although it should be noted that the final 2 hits are the only NC part of the string. For your lows, I recommend a down 4-3, which is too fast to be low parried, although you can still use a down 4 or down back 4, but risk launch punishment on block. But if you're going to risk launch punishment, I recommend full crouch 3 instead, assuming you have the execution. Now Fahkumram's mid game is where things get way spicier. Down forward 4-3 may be able to be ducked, so you might opt for down forward 2-1 if your opponent's wall stand game is weak. On the other hand, maybe you want to use your plus frames for a true guard break instead. Finally, you can go for instant running 3, which will grant combo on natural hit that cannot be reversed and is also plus frames on block. Feng charge 4-4 1+2 is plus 13 open field and plus 15 at the wall. It should also be noted that charge 4-4 1+2 is still plus 14 on natural hit, guaranteeing a shoulder. At plus 15, down 4 cannot be low parried, but you might be inclined to go for down back 3 for plus frames on natural hit, as well as knockdown on counter hit. For mid combo starter, you'll probably want to go for down forward 2-2, since it's a safe wall bounce launcher. Similar to the high wall crush options, you can continuously go for a charge 4-4 1+2 to mentally wear out your opponent. Now Ganryu probably got the worst wall crush with a tie forward 1+2, which is +2 open field and +5 at the wall. This is doubly bad because the wake up position, FDFA, wake up 3 and wake up 4 are both launch punch bomb block, yet give no frames on hit. As such, it's probably better to go for a tap up wall stand 4 instead. Although, you can still go for tap up full crouch hijinks, but they're all incredibly risky on block. Geese down forward 2 was nerfed in patch 5.0 to a +11 open field and a +23 at the wall. And worst of all, down forward 2 is not even a launcher on counter hit. But that +23 does allow for a down 2 that can't be low parried, and a sidestep 3 that can't be hop kicked. Down 1+2 also beats hop kick, while still being an all-in low, guaranteeing a ground throw. But the real juice is forward 4, natural hit wall splat with no frames to be reversed or parried. Finally, like the other massive plus frame options, down forward 2 can go into down forward 2 to keep your opponent guessing. Gigas forward 3 is +8 open field and +20 at the wall, while still retaining its counter hit properties, leading to a full crumple stun launcher. At +20, down back 4 and down 3 both act as chipping lows. But you can also go for the slower down back 2 for plus frames, and while it can be low parried, it does grant knockdown on counter hit. You can also treat his overkill command throw as a low here as well. For your mid option, I recommend either a forward 2 or a back 3 for safe wall splat. Otherwise, if you have the execution, you could still go for instant running 2, which will wall splat on natural hit, but at the same time, still be plus frames on block. A true blast from the past, Heihachi back 1+2 is +10 open field and +12 at the wall. While it can be low parried, Heihachi Hell Sweep is probably the go-to low. But you can also consider his command throw game part of his lows. I recommend using Headbutt Carnival, as if you have the life advantage, chances are you'll win the game. For Heihachi's mids, I recommend forward 3, a safe wall splat option that cannot be reversed because it's a knee. Hwoarang's up forward 3+4 4 goes from +8 open field to +17 at the wall. This +17 perfectly sets up a down 3-4, allowing Hwoarang to continue pressure. This also allows for perfect JSFR, granting full high splat launcher. But you could also go for a safe forward 4 instead. At first glance, Jack's charge back 2 might not seem the best at a +3 open field and a +5 at the wall, but charge back 2 is already a wall splat for massive damage. At +5, you can use down back 1 that can't be low parried, otherwise you can use down 4 that can be low parried but is safe on block. And like the other grapplers, you can use Jack's throw game to your advantage. For instance, a down back 2+3 throw here can lead to massive damage if you're skillful enough. For Jack's mid game, you really have two options, a -14 down forward 2, or a forward 1-1 that's safe on block, although can be ducked. Jin's wall stand 3 was one of the attacks that was nerfed, to a +7 open field and +19 at the wall. Jin's wall stand 3 also no longer launches on counter hit. At +19, down 4 nor down 3-3 can be low parried, although you might want to go for down back 4, which while it can be low parried, is also a knockdown on counter hit. For Jin's mid option, nothing compares to back 4, safe on block and no frames to parry or reverse. Josie's forward 3 is a newly buffed move that's +8 on hit and +23 at the wall. At +23, the opponent cannot low parry down 4, or a perfectly executed crouch dash 3. For Josie's mids, forward 3+4 is a safe knee wall splat, but you could also use a safe forward 4-4 if you want to throw your opponent's timing off. Julia's wall stand 3 has been recently nerfed, although it's +12 open field and +24 at the wall. It should also be noted that counter hit wall stand 3 is no longer a knockdown either. For Julia's lows, you can use a down 3 as a chipping low. Otherwise, if you have the execution, you can always go for a manual full crouch down forward 4-3. Julia also has a full throw game that you can exploit at plus frames. And even though that forward 1+2 has been nerfed, you can still use it for a safe wall splat mid. Katarina back 1-2 is +10 open field and +22 at the wall. And at 22, you can go for an unparryable down 3, or a slower down back 3 for natural hit knockdown. You can also go for a safer down forward 3+4. For Kat's mids, you can use a non-jailing down forward 2-4. Otherwise, you can use a down forward 2-2, which is only -10, but still gives you full wall splat. Now if you have execution, you can also go for Katarina instant running 3, which is plus frames on block and wall splat combo on natural hit. Since back 1-2 is also safe on block, you can keep doing it if your opponent doesn't want to stay standing. Kazumi fly 1+2 is +11 open field and +23 at the wall, and she can still charge fly 1+2 to get the unblockable. At +23, she can use her down back 4 for plus frames, otherwise she can use down back 2 as a beefy hitting low. For Kazumi's mids, a 4-4-4 cannot be parried nor reversed. Although if you're worried about execution, 3-1 is not a terrible idea, although unsafe on block. But if execution is not a problem, you can always go for running 2, which will grant combo on natural hit and is plus frames on block. Kazuya wall stand 1+2 was a move that was also nerfed, although +11 on hit and +23 at the wall. And it also lost its counter hit knockdown properties. You're either looking at a down back 4 for plus frames, or a hell sweep option which may grant you a small combo at the wall. For your mids, I recommend down back 2 to grant small knockdown combo. Otherwise, if you're not worried about parry, you can always go for a forward 1+2, which is a safe wall bounce mid. Now if you do have Devil Form, you do get a spicy option with forward 4, which against crouching opponents guarantees electric. Now of the wall crushes that leave you on the ground, King probably got the most usable ones, at +11 open field and +21 at the wall. And depending if you use sidestep up or sidestep down, the frame data might slightly differ, and the follow-ups also differ. Wake Up 3 will be launch punishable, but grant small combo on natural hit, whereas Wake Up 4 will give you a full wall splat and possible combo follow-up. You can also wake up with an FDFA tap up wall stand 4, which also allows us to buffer DDT on Wake Up. Bear has a similar situation with up forward 4-3, which is +7 open field and +18 at the wall. Unfortunately, +18 is not good enough to guarantee Wake Up 3 or Wake Up 4, so both options can be low parried and or reversed. But you can use an option like FUFT 3+4, which is only -11 at worst case scenario. You can also tap up to recover in standing, allowing for a grab attempt. Lastly, if you're going to play bear, think like a bear. An option like FUFT down 1+2 can set up options on hit as well as block. Kunimitsu's back 2 was nerfed from a knockdown to +8 on natural hit and +20 at the wall. At +20, down back 4 cannot be low parried and should be treated as a chipping low, otherwise you can use the down back 3 series which cannot be low parried as well. For Kuni's mid, QCF 1+2 is too quick to be parried, and best of all is safe on block. Lars 4-4-4-3 is +8 open field and +17 at the wall. It can also be performed as dynamic entry 4-3 for the same frame data. For low follow-up, down back 1-3 is too quick to be low parried, while an all-in low like down 1+2 is too quick to be hop kicked. For Lars's mids, you can use a perfect forward 1+2, which is a safe natural hit wall splat. Otherwise, if you're worried about execution, back 2-3 is safe on block, but is non-jailing. Law's Wall Crush can either be performed as DSS forward 4 or DSS 1-4. It's +7 open field or +10 at the wall. Unfortunately, this +10 doesn't allow for great options, although down back 3 cannot be beat by a hop kick. And forward 2 slide 1 is a great option, although it can be parried or power crushed through. That means to beat defensive options, you'll have to use riskier mids, such as back 3-4 or hop kick. Although you can use forward 4-2-3, just be sure to hit confirm it. Lee HMS 1+2 is +14 open field and +26 at the wall. And at +26, you can use pretty much any low you want, such as down back 3 or down back 3+4. For your mid, you can use a 4-4-3 wall splat, although it's unsafe on block. but instead, I recommend a down forward 1+2/4, which is a hit confirmable wall splat option. Now if you have execution, you can always go for instant running 3/4, which is a plus frame, natural hit wall splat attack. Or the Big Daddy taunt kill, 3 slide 3 just frame 4. Lei's drunken back 1+2 is now +14 open field and +16 at the wall. Since Lei recovers in slide, you can go for a forward slide 3 low, or slide 4 for a wall splat option. Otherwise, you can go for a wake up 3 or wake up 4 option, although keep in mind, both of these attacks are very punishable on block. Leo's BOK 3 is +10 on open field and +12 at the wall. That means all of Leo's lows can be low parried, but none of them interrupted via hop kick. It's a similar story for Leo's mids, although both forward forward 2 and down forward 3 both wall splat and are also safe on block. Leroy's 1-1 1+2-1 was nerfed to lose its knockdown property, although it's +4 open field and +16 at the wall. At +16, down 3-2 cannot be low parried, which then leads to further hermit pressure. Otherwise you can go for a slower low, like his Hell Sweep, although it can be low parried. For Leroy's mids, you can use forward 4-4, which is too fast to be reversed or parried, although it's a non-jailing mid-high wall splat. Although if you prefer a safe mid, you can always use Leroy's up forward 4 orbital. You can also use forward 4 1+2, which is a safe wall splat attack, although leaves you open to parry. Lidia's Political Storm no longer knocks down on natural hit, although it's +4 on hit and +16 at the wall. At I-15, down 3 cannot be low parried, but neither can Lidia's Hell Sweep at I-16. While down back 4 can be low parried, it will guarantee a forward forward 3 if your opponent mashes. For your mid, I recommend a forward forward 2, which is safe on block and cannot be reversed nor parried, or a forward forward 3+4, a safe natural hit wall splat attack, although can be reversed or parried. Lili's up forward 3+4 3 is +14 open field or +18 at the wall. Using that +18, down 1-2 cannot be low parried, while down 3 and down back 3+4 will both be panic hop kicks. You can also use these frames for a forward 4-4 trap, which on counter hit leads to full wall combo. Lili's best mid is easily forward 4, safe on block, and too quick to be parried or reversed. Lucky Chloe's wall crush is back turn Cali roll, which is +11 open field and +25 at the wall. At +25, she can do pretty much any low, including down back 3 series, or the down back 4 series without fear of being low parried. She can also opt to use a tricky low like down forward 4, which can be cancelled mid-animation. And finally, Lucky Chloe can also use down 3+4, which if you hit the lucky, allows you to go for the same setup all over again. For her mids, you can use a safe option like forward forward 3, which is too quick to be parried or reversed, or a wall splat option like back 3 back, which guarantees Cali roll for wall damage. Marduk QCF 1 Charge 2 is +14 open field and +16 at the wall. +16 perfectly sets up a down 3 that can't be low parried, and a QCF 2 option that will give you counter hit damage and attack throw if the opponent tries to mash out, including a hop kick. Otherwise, like the other grapplers, you can use Marduk's command grab game in place of lows. For his mids, you'll want to use down back 2, which is a safe wall splat option that's too quick to be reversed or parried, or a slightly slower option like up forward 3, which cannot be reversed because it's a knee. Raven Shadow 1+2 was a move that was nerfed in 5.0, going from a natural hit knockdown to +6 open field and +15 at the wall. At +15, down 3 cannot be low parried, and an option like down 4 will beat hop kick, granting plus frames on counter hit. For her mids, Raven will have to take a little bit more risk. An option like forward 3-2 deals a lot of damage and is NC, although it's -14 on block. And while an option like down forward 2-3 is safe on block, at the same time does not jail. But she does have a trick up her sleeve. Down forward 4 only launches crouchers, but is a very weird move to react to. Miguel's Savage Charge 1+2 is +7 open field and +11 at the wall. At plus 11, all of Miguel's lows can be low parried, although an option like down back 4 will hit counter hit against people who mash hop kick. So assuming your opponent doesn't mash, it's probably better to go for down back 3, which can end in salve stance by holding forward. For Miguel's mids, you can go for an unsafe option like forward 4-2, or a safe option like down back 2, although this leaves you open to power crush. Negan's up forward 4 both got a nerf and a buff. Plus 6 open field with too much pushback, although at the wall a Mondo plus 22. It's also important to note that up forward 4 still retains its counter hit launching properties. At plus 22, Negan's low game becomes incredibly scary, where down back 4 cannot be low parried, and an option like back 3 gives the opponent 1 frame to hang themselves, where if they mash any attack, 1-2-4 follow-up is guaranteed. You can also use an option like down back 2. Since it's a bat, it cannot be low parried, and there are no frames to hop kick interrupt. For his mids, a forward 4-2 cannot be parried nor reversed, while still being a safe wall splat option. And at plus 22, you can also use back 1+2, which grants wall splat while still being plus frames on block. Otherwise, if you need big damage now, you can always use forward 4-3-2, which is hit confirmable, although launch punish on block. And finally, like the other massive plus frame wall crush, you can always use up forward 4 into up forward 4. Nina's forward 4 charge 1+2 is plus 11 open field and plus 16 at the wall. At plus 16, down 3 series options cannot be low parried, although you might prefer to go for down 4-1 cancel options instead. A down back 3 is also a decent option, as while it can be low parried, it'll counter hit knockdown if they mash out any option, guaranteeing free follow-up afterwards. For Nina's mids, a down forward 1+2 is too quick to be reversed or parried. Now if you'd prefer a slower mid, down back 2 is perfect, as it will still beat hop kick and power crush mash. Noctis down back charge 1+2 is -2 open field and +0 at the wall, which means you'll have to use either evasive or special options to take your turn. For instance, a high crushing low like down back 3, or a power crush mid to try and score wall splat. You can even use a safe mid option like back 2 that has some evasion against jabs. Now if you think your opponent is going to respect your non-existent plus frames, you can go for a low series like Emo Man, or a safe wall splat with forward 1+2. Paul's wall crush is down 1 charge 2, which is plus 14 open field and plus 16 at the wall. At plus 16, Paul's Demo Man cannot be low parried, but if you prefer a slower, although safer low, back 4 is a good option. If the opponent mashes out, you'll get another plus 16 immediately after. Otherwise, like the other grapplers, Paul has a command throw game that can be used in place of his lows. For Paul's mid game, you can go for an immediate death fist that's too quick to be parried or reversed, or the slower up back 2 option that's safe on block. Shaheen's wall crush is sneak 2, which is plus 12 open field and plus 20 at the wall. At plus 20, you can go for a chunky low like down 4 that can't be low parried, or a down 3 option that can end in sneak, granting further pressure. For Shaheen's mid, down forward 3, which is a safe option and too quick to be reversed or parried. Steve's wall crush, Pab down forward 1-2, is both nerfed and buffed. Losing its natural hit knockdown is now plus 10 open field and plus 18 at the wall. At plus 18, down 1 cannot be low parried, but you might be inclined to go for a riskier down back 3-2, which is a natural hit knockdown. And while it can be low parried, you can always go for a QCF2, which is a plus frame low. For Steve's mid, you should use QCF1 into flicker, as it's safe on block and too quick to be parried or reversed. Xiaoyu's wall crush is forward 3+4 3+4, and it's plus 7 open field and plus 14 at the wall. At plus 14, the only low that can't be low parried is down 3, although you might want to use a slower down back 2, which leads to plus 5 in RDS. Otherwise, if the opponent mashes out, is a massive plus 18 in RDS. For her mid options, you can use a down back 1, which while it can be reversed or parried, is at least safe on block. Or you can drop into AOP and do a safe wall bounce option like AOP 1+2. For Yoshi's Wall Crush, he has Kin forward 2, which is -1 open field and +11 at the wall. At +11, you can go for a down back 3 series, and while it can be low parried, it will beat hop kicks. For your mids, I recommend either using a safe forward 4 option, or a riskier, although higher damage down to 1. Just be aware it's non-jailing. But let's be honest, you're going to do unblockable, and while it can be interrupted at close range, cannot be interrupted at tip. Shaheen is up forward 1+2, ends in Tarantula, and is +6 open field and +23 at the wall. That means a low like Tarantula 1 cannot be low parried, but you might favor a knockdown like Tarantula down 1+2, which cannot be hop kicked. For Shaheen's mids, she can use a Tarantula 1+2, or a riskier option like Tarantula 4-3 that leads to full combo at the wall.